So paraphrase. You don't have to write word for word.
Just like trying to make sure that they can't have no type of argument.
Exactly.
Like they don't have no reason to know.
Exactly. Because it's like, if you don't address what they're thinking, but simply by addressing it, they're going to have to say, oh, well, now I have to come up with another reason to say no. You know, because otherwise, the whole time you're making the argument, in their mind, they've got their reason to say no, and they're thinking that the whole time. So they're like, yeah, that's a good point, but no. And then when you say, wait, but before you say no for this reason, let me tell you why you should rethink that. And then they're like, okay, even if I'm still going to say no, I have to think of why. So they automatically have to put more thought into your argument.
I'm the wrong, that's wrong.
Yes. They might do that. Okay, everyone have third body paragraph, understand what goes in it? Okay.
It's still recording us? Because
I think so. You know, I'm not really sure if when the screen goes off, it records or not, but I think so. You guys done this before? Good. Yep, then I guess it's still recording.
I know.
Probably just gonna steal a clip from it.
You should try to mix it all together.
Put a beat in the background. That would be fun. Do you have a question? I'm sorry. Feel it, yes. What are you anticipating Mr. Evans to say or think? Is that the part you're talking about? Wait, I can't even say it a little louder. Is it green inside?
When we state every is it just one sentence?
Yeah, it's like, I would say pick Mr. Evans. Okay, so I think Jalen's question, tell me if I'm wrong, is do you give just one reason, one sentence, or do you think do you list every single reason that you might say no? Is that what you're asking? Okay. I would say pick his strongest, when he's most likely to say no, his strongest counter-argument, and address that, because that's what I wanted you to build. Just pick one thing, one reason he's going to say no, and something that you have a response to. You need to all listen to this, because this is the new part for you guys, and it's going to be confusing a little bit. I'm going to help you through it, but so you need to figure out, okay, what is, and if you don't know, ask me or Ms. Conger. We can probably tell you this is exactly why he's going to say no, or this is exactly why the rule is already in place. This is his reasoning. So address that. Be like, I realize the reason that we can't use cell phones in school right now. And then from there, you have to say, but if you consider my arguments, if you consider my compromise, whatever you're putting forward, then we might be able to come to an agreement. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? A little bit? Okay. I would say, yeah, I would say just choose one. Don't give yourself more than that, because one will be more effective than you think if you do it well. And if you pick an argument that he's most likely to make. This is what's tripping a lot of people up in all three classes, because this isn't something you guys have probably done before. So that's your last body paragraph. You got a quick conclusion, closing paragraph. It would be a conclusion in an essay. In a letter, it's just kind of considered like a little closing paragraph, which is why it's, again, like the introduction, is shorter. Before I move on to that, is everyone comfortable with this paragraph? Ish? Ask a question, too, if you still... Yes. Oh, did you have a question, Mikey? Yeah, go on. Okay. Skip a line. This is the close. It's going to be different from a conclusion. I'm going to wait for you, Martise, because I want you to hear this. next to conclusion, after you skip the line, write the words call to action at the bottom in red. That's something that's new.
Write it down.
Conclusion, and then just put a line or a period or something and write call to action. It is a tactic for concluding a persuasive piece of writing, whether it's an essay or a letter, or whatever you're doing. A lot of salespeople will use this too, in like advertisements or whatnot. I have a little like one-liner in there at the end, like, so if you want to change the world, buy our deodorants, you know, whatever. So the difference between this little closing part of your letter and a regular conclusion is normally in the conclusion, it's like you kind of summarize, you go back and say everything again. You don't need to necessarily summarize every single main idea that you had. Because this is going to be shorter and he already knows. It's just a letter. So you can go back and read it if he's looking for your ideas again. But you need to remind him again what you're looking for him to do, what you want, and why. And then the call to action is like a polite little nudge to consider your point. And that's why I said the more specific you are with your position statement, the better you will be. So not just, hey, allow MP3 players, but if you let us listen to music during 10-minute, between the 10-minute bell and the end of class or something like that, then he knows exactly what he has to consider and the reasons why. And what you're suggesting that he does. I'll give you a couple examples. I would say, my clues up here to you, the things I've highlighted in red are kind of the basic bare bone structure, the paraphrased version of the notes, so that you don't have to write everything word for word. Does that make sense so far? Does anyone have questions about the closing? Okay, thumbs up if you still need to write this down. Money, are you close?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Examples of a call to action. We're almost done. Stay with us. Writing to convince Mr. Evans to consider your position and take action. Hence the call to action. You're calling him to act. I know, I'm reading it. It's okay. You don't have to write this down. So it refers to your main point, maybe. We should have, this is my position and this is the reason why. I already said it, the more specific you are, the better. And that if you've already worked the problem out for him, you have a stronger argument. Keep in mind he's a busy guy. He doesn't want to have to solve your problems. He's going to be more likely to consider doing something if you said, why don't we try this? Okay. You don't have to write this down.
Question.
Yes.
I just have school on Monday.
We don't have school.
Okay. You know?
Next Monday?
December 3rd. Because we have a professional
Hey, bro.
We got school on Monday. Why we got school on Monday?
Okay, focus. Because it's still a long way from Monday.
I just got a question. Why we don't?
Professional development for teachers. It's like a and listen to people talk about things that we should know. It's cool. Enjoy your
Is that with every school or just ours?
every school? And then yes. Okay, Okay, come back. We're almost done. I'm gonna let you work on this on your own.
Yeah, told me.
Okay. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go back and give you a couple examples of call to action because I know this is new and it's a little confusing. Someone read the first paragraph for me. Erica, go ahead. Your hand went up first.
No, not that we have.
Hold on. So we were talking about.
What you got?
I will let Erica talk and people are trying to be disrespectful to her. Sean, please. Okay, Erica, loudly, go ahead.
Not that we have 53 uniforms because more problems cause more problems than they can solve. I hope you will consider making expert policy which requires students to wear them.
Yes, okay, so asking him to what? Consider a policy, or consider against making a school policy that makes students wear school uniforms. Specifically what you're asking him to do refers back to, doesn't summarize, right? It doesn't say these are all my main points again, but it says now that we've seen that school uniforms cause more problems than they solve. And that's what he talks about in your body paragraphs. So you got that covered, you don't have to bring them all out again. Just refers back to them. Second paragraph, someone else read it? You want to read? Go for it.
A soccer team will raise school spirit and give more students a chance to learn a sport. If you agree to help making this happen, we can get a team together by writing or emailing parents and coaches and making announcements at staff meetings.
Okay, so see how this person in their essay or in their letter, suggests exactly what he should do. Write or email parents or coaches, make announcements at staff meetings. Refers back in the first sentence to the main points of the letter, which is that it will raise school spirit and give more students a chance to learn a sport. So those were the two reasons that they expanded on in their body paragraphs. Make sense? Last part of the letter, closing phrase and a comma. Pretty much, gotta be sincerely yours truly or kind regards, best regards. Yep. Skip a line after the close. Skip a line after the close and write.
Do we gotta do one of those?
Yeah. Because that's the formal way of closing the letter. How else would you close it tonight? Nope, gotta do this. It's polite. It's formal.